and I'm here on World Environment Day with my good friend and colleague, MacDonald Sembereka, the Presidential Advisor to President Joyce Banda of Malawi. And we're here today to talk about a project that the College of Global Sustainability, Sustainable Tourism Concentration is involved with Malawi in the Lwindi National Park.
Yes.
MacDonald, maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about the Lwindi National Park and why the work of the students is so important.
Thank you, David. Rwanda National Park is one of the parks in Malawi whose emphasis has been on ecotourism, but at the same time looking at the sustainability of the environment and its relationship with the communities surrounding it. So certainly I was here sometime last year, and it's good to see that the students have now made it to Malawi, and that will give Liwonde a global perspective as well as the students. So it's a win-win situation for us.
And Lwindi is, I understand it, quite unique, and it's one of the few places, in fact, it's the only place in the world I'm aware of, there may be others, where you can see the Big Five, and you have your option of pedestrian hiking trails, jeeps, or river trips to see this beautiful park and wildlife.
Oh, certainly. In that sense, Rwanda becomes unique in that it's on the shores of the Shire River. It's close to the biggest river in the one of the biggest rivers in southern Africa, but at the same time, it's not far from one of the biggest plateaus in Africa, which is Zomba Plateau. At the same time, it's not very far from Lake Malawi. So and Lake Malawi offers a wide section of cichlids, and a variety of fish. To the extent that you see all these opportunities if you access Rwanda.
And tell us about some of the wildlife that tourists might see at this national park.
We have a number of water bushbucks, we have zebras, we have elephants, we have hippos, we have rhinos, and we are trying to work hard as to preserve the few, or at least what we know so far. We have one lion. We are about to restock it with some more lions to make sure that we have the Big Five intact.
And then there's leopards.
And there are leopards.
Antelopes. And I understand for bird watchers, it's one of the best bird watching sites in the world, where people with over 390 bird species have reported to see close to 300 in a weekend, which is amazing.
So that's one of the issues that makes it as exquisite as it would be.
And the students are assisting in developing a draft for a master plan for the park and sustainable tourism based on the global sustainable tourism criteria. And what are some of your hopes that might come out of this work?
My hopes are, one, it will make sure that we realize which gaps we have in the park, and make sure that the park is as attractive to the global village as it would be. Certainly we may not know some of the challenges we have, but perhaps with the students' perspectives may bring in some kind of understanding that may attract further investment into the park. We are looking at the possibility of having another lodge in the park, which will basically be in the responsibility, under the responsibility and charges of the communities around, to make sure that there is a trickle down effect in as far as the percent.
And three of the challenges that we have identified is addressing the growing global concern of poaching, economic development for the tourist lodge that also helps the people of Malawi economically,
Yes.
and more engagement and nurturing of support of the local communities so they understand the tremendous benefits this park may bring to them as local Malawians as well as the global visitors. Would you like to comment on those?
Yes, this is important in that, the park, the communities around the park have experienced human-animal conflict to the extent that sometimes they don't see any meaning of keeping a park close to them. And so they would rather run down on any animal that comes out of the park. But what we are trying to emphasize is to ensure that there's a symbiotic kind of relationship between the communities and the park itself, and make sure that the communities equally see the importance of keeping that park by ensuring that issues of investment, community investment, are ensured, that the benefits that come out of the park trickles down to the communities. So to the extent that we are proposing a number of projects in the park and our surrounding villages, there's already an early childhood development program that is running. Shortly we'll be coming up with a fish farming project around that community to ensure that since most of the people who go into the park are also going to fish into the river, and some of them encounter some challenges when it comes to that. So we are saying perhaps the moment we start doing fish farming, then we ensure that there is sustainability. There is also a thing to do with the mutual responsibility that the communities around the park have. So we will introduce perhaps a cross-section of projects that takes care of that kind of challenge. The issue of poaching is a global issue, and that worries us. We would rather make sure that security is enhanced, and at the same time, the communities do not allow any poachers to go into these parks, because the impact, the negative impact poaching causes is so adverse.
And last fall, when you were here, we spent a day where we spent time with scientists out at Walt Disney World that had some ideas and strategies, including rhino management, how to keep elephants in the park through bees, and the education strategies that they found successful in building a new environmental ethic. Can you comment on how some of those strategies might be implemented in the park?
Yeah, certainly the Chile project is one very important project because it stops elephants from moving out of the park,
Right.
but at the same time enables the communities to make some income out of it. The bee project is also one project that we are considering, that it will make sure that it deters unnecessary encroachment of the elephants into the communities. Because just you talked to me about your students' encounter 2 days ago, that they had the first human-animal conflict in the community when the elephants went out to the communities and started plucking out the corn.
And the Disney scientists have shown that you actually don't even need the bees, but just the sounds of bees to keep the elephants in the park, which is pretty incredible.
Sure, that's quite something substantial we can do, and bee farming has already started in Malawi. So to that effect, I don't think that will be a major challenge.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, MacDonald. And do you have any concluding remarks you'd like to share in terms of Malawi and encouraging people to come visit Luwande?
Yes, certainly, Devim. It's a pleasure to be back to Patel Center, to University of South Florida, and to go on discussing these issues. It's good that we have the students on the ground in Malawi. It's my expectation that this will be a continued, and make sure that there are more students coming to Malawi. They can even go to other parks at some point in time. Um, uh, we, as Malawi, we have prioritized tourism as one of the fast tracking of economic evolution in Malawi. So we are trying all the best to make sure that Malawi is accessible. We are attracting investors in the airline business community. We are making sure that it's reasonable to get to Malawi, and we'll make sure that we get as much as possible out of this venture. And once again, I thank Patel Center and the University of South Florida and you, Devi, for this friendship and partnership. Let's make it a long-term partnership.
Thank you, MacDonald. You're truly one of the conservation heroes.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.